Okay, so today I just really wanted to rank the Scream cold opens. I finally watched Scream 5, which was the last Scream movie I needed to watch. I kind of watched them all out of order. I know that's my bad. It wasn't my intention. It just kind of happened that way. But now that I've finished the Scream movies, we are going to, or more so I am going to look at each of the cold opens and ranking them. I was going to try to come up with categories like originality and execution, but then I was like, you know what? The most important thing is my opinion, because this is my ranking video. So, yeah, this is my opinion. If you don't agree, that is perfectly fine. Most of you probably won't agree. If you do agree, you should let me know though, so I feel seen. So coming in at number 6 is going to be Scream 3. This one has got to be one of my least favorites. Well, it is my least favorite. It kind of feels like a TV movie, both in how it looks and just in what is happening. So the violence got a little turned down, so that might be half of the problem. I just don't like how it looks. It's very dark, it's very dingy. Scream 3 does something different by putting a character we already know in the cold opening, something that isn't present in any of the other movies. Maybe this could have worked if it was with a more major character, but it's Cotton Weary. Does anyone care about Cotton Weary? I could personally care less. So making his death the cold open has less of an effect on me than creating a character I've never met before. His wife or girlfriend or whoever is there whom we haven't met before, but I could really care less about her. She kind of feels like a stock character, which I guess most of the people in the cold opens kind of feel like stock characters. Cotton's death fits in with the theme of the deaths throughout the movie, kind of, but I'm just not feeling it. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of much of this movie. So whereas the cold open should get you hyped for the movie, this one kind of just lowers my expectations. Like, if the cold open isn't very good, the rest can't be much better. And you know what? The rest isn't much better. It's doable. Like I said, it kind of just feels like a TV movie. It doesn't look very nice. It's not executed super well. I think there's issues with the script. I think there's things in it that don't make sense. I absolutely hate the ending, but that is for another day because we are just talking about cold openings. But yeah, that's my opinion on Scream 3. So I know a lot of people like this one. From what I understand, a lot of people hold this one up with the original for being so iconic. And while yes, I do see the appeal, it's just personally not one of my favorites. I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of the treatment of the stab movies within the movie universe, particularly the second and third movies. I feel like it kind of weighs down the main story if I'm being honest. I think 4 and especially 5 handle it better, while 3 being my personal least favorite, both in general and how much it is focused on in the movie, the in-movie movie. So for those reasons, this one kind of falls flat to me. It is weird to like the idea of the first Scream's killers who take inspiration from movies, but I dislike this opening, which is about people going nuts for a horror movie. I think where it rubs me the wrong way, and this is called out by the movie itself, is that it's a recent story about real people. So whereas in Scream 1, I'm thinking, wow, this is so innovative and intense, in Scream 2, I'm thinking, wow, this is kind of repetitive and crude. Like, this is a big deal in the movie universe. Why are people pretending to stab each other? Why are they going nuts? Is that hypocritical? Maybe. But I did say this was my opinion, and I don't always have good reasons for my opinion, so that's the best I can give you. This one just feels so long. It's broken down into 3 parts. It opens with 2 girls who are stalked and killed via a Facebook stalker, and that's a pretty solid opening, and it fits with the social media theme of the rest of the movie. I also like the combination of texting and calling, which fits at the times, that time being 2011. This, however, turns out to actually be Stab 6, which is being watched by 2 other girls. They go back and forth, debating if stab movies are even good, and one stabs the other. This is Stab 7. This part I'm not a fan of. The cinematography and effects have a huge downgrade, which I suppose is understandable about a movie in a movie. But the prior movie in a movie looked a lot nicer, matching the style of the rest of the film much better. Then we get to the third part, which turns out to be real life. But I think by now the effect has worn down. Before we get to the title sequence, it begs, is this another movie or not? By now I've lost interest, and there's really no tension because we've already established how this is going to end. Twice, within 7-ish minutes, and of course, if you've seen the other Scream movies, you know how it's going to end anyways, but at least, you keep a little bit of the tension up, you know? Frankly, I think the first part was fine, but if they insisted doing a movie within a movie, they could have skipped the middle section, which causes the whole thing to lose steam. Maybe make the second section a little bit different and just leave out the third section. Or I honestly think if they had to do a movie within a movie, they should have scrapped. I think the second part and the third part, neither are very good. So I think if they insisted on doing it, they could have come up with another option. If it had stopped after the first cutaway, this would have been ranked a little bit higher. This is the only one where the character in the cold open survives. It's reminiscent of the original Scream's opening scene with Drew Barrymore, and I think it serves as a good beginning as a reboot of the series. The brutality also matches with the original, and the part where Tara gets stabbed right through the hand is just a really powerful image and serves as something different than the typical gut, back, and throat slashes. Is it super original? No, not really, but I think it's executed well and it has a nice callback to the original, so I appreciate that. Okay, this one is pretty solid, and it gets bonus points for Samara weaving. 1 in 5, we start out following one main person, which I like. All of the focus is on Laura, who despite being a major slasher fan, somehow manages to get talked into an alleyway. Does that add up? Not very well. But after she gets slashed, this is the best part, the title screen does not drop. But Ghostface takes off his mask. That never happens until the end of the movie. Cool premise. We'll know who the killer is throughout the whole movie. The watching experience will be totally unique from any other Scream, right? No, actually he gets killed off in the opener too. But the momentary excitement of the possibilities was nice while it lasted. But we do get this chilling speech delivered to us by Tony Revolori, before he's stabbed, and a really interesting line from the newest Ghostface, the real Ghostface for this movie, which is, who gives a fuck about movies? He didn't say it like that, but iconic. This one gets extra bonus points for being innovative while still managing to win my favor. Of course, it's the original. It is absolutely iconic. The tension here builds in a way that most of the other cold opens are lacking. Stakes are set. Whereas some of the later Scream cold opens have Ghostface simply aiming to scare the victims before revealing him or herself, this one gives hope by the design of the trivia game. You win, you live, you lose, you die. Although if you've seen the movie, you'll know that Casey never really had a chance, but she doesn't know that, and if you're watching it for the first time, you might not know that either. And really, this one just works by itself. It would make an excellent short film, independent of the rest of the movie, and I think that attests to how good it is. It can stand alone and doesn't need to rely on the rest of the story. There's really nothing left to be desired. At nearly 13 minutes long, it feels like the perfect length. The character of Casey Becker is established. We get to know her within these 13 minutes. We aren't given too much information about her to weigh down the pacing, but we get enough of her personality to root for her. We establish from the get-go that this is not only a love letter to previous horror films, but something willing to simultaneously use classic tropes and to flip them on their head. We don't get a motive, but the killer's methods get established right off the bat. We get to see how the slasher is using their love of horror movies against Casey's own knowledge. Knowledge of horror movies will be brought up over and over again throughout the series, and it's truly the series' backbone. This scene earns its place in cinematic history for killing off its biggest named actor in the movie's intro, which is absolutely wild but makes for a jaw-dropping hook for not only the movie but the entire series. As we've already discussed, the cold open will become a staple of the Scream franchise. Did we discuss that? I don't think so, but I think it can be assumed. If you are one of my returning viewers, I want to thank you very much. It seems like there's a couple of you. Thank you very much. I love you all. For everyone else, thank you. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, leave a like. If you have a different opinion, leave a comment. If you have the same opinion, leave a comment. I love people with the same opinions as me, but I also respect the people who have differing opinions. So whatever your opinions are, feel free to comment. Bye!